Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's reverb on 4. Reverb on 9. It's so good. You're listening to a 1990s Peavey Classic 50. And it does so many things and it sounds so fucking rad. I'm a moron for selling it. My manager is gonna kill me. That's the head right here. Below it is a 2x10 cab with Electro Voice 10-inch speakers, and below that is a 4x12 cab with Celestian black shadows, and then Electro Voices on the very bottom. It's a big old stack to be running a amp through, but it's a great stack to do that with. You've been listening to the normal channel. Let's take a tour. Come here. Let's take a tour. I suspect if you're trying to buy a Peavey Classic 50, you may already kind of know the deal, especially the heads. The heads are a good deal less common. The most common seems to be the 2x12 combo. You got a 4x10 combo hanging out there as well, and then you've got these. You've got these heads. There are tweed heads, and there are black tweed heads. This is a non-tweed black head with some silver, classy little silver piping on it. And I think that it's probably been retolexed. I do not think that it has been re-head shelled. I'm confident that this is the original shell, but I think that the Tolex has been redone because I've never seen a production like elephant skin kind of Tolex before on Peavey Classic 50s, and I think that I've seen pretty much all there is to see. But all the original hardware, like screws, etc., that's interference from my phone. It's dead silent. Unless I am sticking my phone literally into it. And you've got two channels. You've got a master presence and a master volume that controls both channels. You've got what's called a normal channel and a lead channel. You've got a shared EQ for both of those, treble, middle, and bass. You have a master reverb that is foot switchable. On or off, otherwise it is going to stay present if you change channels back and forth. Of course, normal and lead channel is foot switchable as well. I do not have a foot switch, but any old button one will do. And then you've got a what it kind of amounts to your channel volume here. You've got your normal channel volume here, which is kind of like your preamp volume when you are kind of like your preamp volume when you are just on the normal channel. So cranked, you get a little bit of breakup. You can set it to where it is sparklingly clean. When it comes to your lead channel volume, you've got a post control and a preamp control right here. This master volume is going to be occurring later than this post control. So this kind of amounts to like your dirty, your lead channel, like overall volume, and this is how much dirt that you are going to be using, but those two are like really pretty interactive. And it sounds fucking amazing. The reverb it's stupid how much reverb you've got available to you on tap. This amp is completely silent. It works every single time. And I suspect that it will do the exact same thing for you. I have never had a problem with the amp, so I've never had to have been inside of it. I suspect that you will find because these are 1990s, I suspect that you'll find that the original electrolytic capacitors are still there, and that you'll find that like nothing really has been mucked about with. But I am making no claims as to the service history of this amp because I do not know of any service history that would have happened to this amp. And here's one thing to think about. This is a EL84 based amp. It is running off of 4 EL84s for a cumulative power rating of about 50 watts. And I think there are 3 12AX7s, but you know, whatever Peavey says there is what they are. And if you are in between, like, if you're in between a, if you're in between an import Vox, if you're looking at an import, if you're looking at an import Vox, you should maybe be considering spending a good deal less money on a good deal less money on a Peavey Classic 50. I think that Peavey was not trying to make a Vox copy with this, but the gain characteristic of the lead channel can get a little I don't know, that's not a bad, like, you can really kind of in the ballpark. You can spend less money doing it, and you can have an American-made amp. I feel like the 84-ness of this amp, especially at like edge of breakup, kind of. Drifting a little out of tune on the guitar, but hopefully you'll bear with me. Can do like cool shoegazy stuff. The Reverb is like 10 miles long, and it's a great sounding amp. It's my first amp ever. Not this one, a different Classic 50 head was my first like kind of nice amp in high school, and it is near and dear to my heart. Turn on this camera to just like make a proof of condition video for a Reverb listing that I'm intending to make, and it may very well end up doing that. Like there's sort of this goes for a lot of the like good Peavey heads, is that they're stupid to sell because they sound so good, and they sound better than like you'll never get as much money selling them as how good they sound, that was clumsy. The value for the amp is super high, in my opinion. And I'm going to end up listing this for like $500, which is under what other people are asking on Reverb, and I'll probably net a little bit over $400. And the fact that I can get this much sound for $400 is fucking wild. And they've been $400 for like 5 years. They're somehow immune to inflation. Not all Peavey heads are immune to inflation. VTM 120s and Butchers and other things like can catch a little bit of a um kind of like nerd, like stoner nerd momentum. But the Classic 50 is not one of them. I can't speak to the Classic 100. I don't know how different that feels in hand, but the Classic 50 is just kind of like reliably there. So sometimes it's easy to, like, even though it doesn't make too much sense to sell them, because it's like the most sound you can get for $500. I kind of take for granted the idea that they will be easy enough to come by another one for around the same price or less. And it really is like a great fake. It's a great fake box. It's also a great fake Fender. And it is also a great fake, like, it's not a Marshall, but like the gain sound is really pleasant. A great fake, like, cranked Vox, and then it kind of transitions into something that is like pretty relatively high gain. It probably doesn't have as much like doo 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 at like super high volumes, at like huge like chest kicking punch that you're gonna get from like 6550s or like 6L6s, but it's plenty loud enough, and it can like chug. Um, it's the most versatile, like, least expensive amp I can think of. I like the head best because I like being able to mix and match the cabs. But the especially with closed back cabs, you can bring out some of the like doo 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 that it does have to offer. Look, I don't know. If you've watched this long, then you just think I'm cute. Is this on Reverb? I don't know. Look for it. And I hope you're doing great. And if you don't buy mine, buy somebody else's because they rip.